What began as a weekend retreat at Lake Elementaita ended in tragedy. A young woman was discovered lifeless in a bathtub. The scene strangely pristine, her belongings carefully arranged. At first, it seemed like a tragic accident, but as investigation deepened, the cracks in the story widened. Beneath the surface lay a marriage fractured by infidelity, rejection, and the threat of divorce. Secrets that would ultimately expose the chilling truth. This is Crimes of Africa. Hello and welcome to another episode of Crimes of Africa. Today's story takes us to Kenya's Rift Valley, to Jarakanda, Lake Elementaita Lodge, a place of beauty and serenity where tourists go to escape and unwind. But in July 2017, behind the closed doors of room 17, serenity turned to suspicion, and a family's love story became the scene of a crime that shocked the nation. Rhoda Mumbi was born on May 28, 1983, the youngest of three siblings. Intelligent, ambitious, and deeply family-oriented, she carried a warmth that drew people to her. Friends and relatives often described her as a woman who could balance grace with determination, the kind of person who seemed destined for happiness and success.
This girl was a gem. The sister I wouldn't even be able to understand or even to explain what kind of a sister she was. She was a lovely girl. She was our last born sister.
Her life changed when she met Nicholas Koskei while on internship at the United Nations. She admired his charisma and ambition. He was captivated by her charm and gentleness. From their first meeting, sparks flew. Their chemistry was undeniable, and what began as a promising friendship soon blossomed into a whirlwind romance. By 2012, they were married. They would go on to have two lovely children, a daughter in July 2012 and a son in November 2014. To the outside world, the Koskeis appeared to be the perfect UN power couple. Nicholas building a career within UNICEF and later UNOPS. Rhoda, the devoted housewife and mother. On Instagram, Nicholas even flaunted the image of wealth and success, styling himself on the hashtags like the millionaire, rich farmers of Instagram. But behind the glossy photos and professional accolades, their marriage harbored cracks. From the very beginning, Nicholas' family disapproved of the union. Their objection was not personal, but ethnic. Rhoda was from a different community, and that cultural barrier would soon become a thorn that never healed. Rhoda knew she wasn't fully embraced, and whispers of resentment lingered in the background of their marriage. As the years went by, Nicholas' attention strayed. He was often absent from home, and rumors swirled of other women. On Valentine's Day 2017, when most couples celebrated love, Nicholas spent the day with another woman instead of his wife. Rhoda found out, and it cut deep. The WhatsApp conversation she shared with her close friend Mose revealed a woman who felt betrayed and exhausted. She no longer trusted her husband. For the first time, she considered the unthinkable: divorce. Sensing her discontent and perhaps fearing he was losing her, Nicholas suggested a short getaway to Jarakanda Lodge in Kiambu. The weekend of July 8, 2017 was meant to be their reconciliation. He even booked a room with a bathtub, insisting on it despite other options. On July 7th, Nicholas and Rhoda dropped off their children with her sister. explaining that they were going for a romantic weekend to celebrate his upcoming 36th birthday. Perhaps she thought time away together could heal the wounds. On the afternoon of July 8, the couple checked in at 3:20 p.m. They settled into room 17 near the reception area. Staff recall seeing them together around the pool later that afternoon. Nicholas with 2 beers and Rhoda sipping ginger tea.
When he checked in, he requested for a room with a bathtub, and that was provided. Then, after checking in, they took some time in the room, then came down for a cup of tea and a beer. They sat by the poolside, then later went to the room for a shower.
They appeared relaxed, almost like the ideal couple, trying to rekindle love. By 6:45 p.m., they had moved to the terrace, chatting and enjoying the cool evening breeze. That was the last time lodge staff saw Rhoda alive. Later that night, Nicholas appeared at reception. He was sweating, panting, dressed in jeans and slip-ons. He told staff he had just returned from jogging. Strangely, his behavior seemed off, restless and unfocused. He claimed he had tried calling Rhoda from outside, but she wasn't answering. Concerned, he requested a spare key from the receptionist. Security guard Damas accompanied him back to the room.
Eventually, he was taken to the front desk where he was given a security guard who came with him with an extra key, and they came and opened the room, and only to find what had happened.
When the door was opened, the guard saw Rhoda's lifeless body in the bathtub. She was unclothed, her undergarment neatly folded to the side. The water was clear, no soap bubbles, no disturbance. Odd for a bath. The bathroom floor and mat were completely dry. Surprisingly, Nicholas didn't rush to her aid. Instead, he fell to his knees in a dramatic gesture, peeking into the bathroom without approaching his wife's body. Moments later, he was pacing, lying on the bed and even scrolling on his phone. To some, it looked less like a shock and more like a performance. But there was more. Beside the tub sat a half-empty bottle of Baileys and a glass, as though Rhoda had been drinking before slipping into the bath. Nicholas later claimed she had surely ingested pills and drowned, suggesting that his wife was struggling with substance use and alcohol. On July 11th, a post-mortem was conducted. The findings shattered the drowning narrative. Rhoda had died of asphyxia due to mechanical strangulation.
Post-mortem came out that Rhoda died out of mechanical strangulation and stuffing.
There was no alcohol, no drugs, and no toxins in her body. What at first seems like a tragic accident now bore all the hallmarks of homicide.
It was a weekend that we hoped to enjoy with the family. Unfortunately, it turned out to be the way it went.
As investigators began piecing events together, inconsistencies emerged. Nicholas claimed he had been jogging, yet he was sweating and panting while dressed in jeans and slip-ons. The bathroom sink did not align with drowning. The floor and the mat were completely dry, and the water in the tub was clear and undisturbed. A half-empty bottle of Baileys and a glass had been found near the tub, but toxicology reports confirmed there was no alcohol in Rhoda's system. Nicholas had a fresh injury near his eye, which investigators believe was sustained while Rhoda fought back against her attacker. The bedroom showed signs of disturbance, leading investigators to suspect that Rhoda may have been attacked there first and then moved to the bathtub to stage the scene. Most troubling of all was Nicholas' social media activity. On the very day of Rhoda's death, he posted his first ever Instagram story, a photo of his wife with the caption RIP. To his friends and family, it felt chillingly detached, almost rehearsed.
Yeah, we started wondering how people who have been very close to me and who looked to be very close to each other, how they can end up in this kind of circumstance.
He did not inform Rhoda's family until 2 a.m. And when he did, he delegated the painful task of breaking the news to a cousin.
The brothers to the husband and one of my nephews, 2 nephews came and woke me early in the morning and reported me to the incident that Rhoda has fallen off the bathroom and he has been pinned to the back head and she collapsed. That's only the story I received that morning.
On July 18th, 2017, Nicholas was arrested. But in Kenya's flawed justice system, things really moved swiftly. Within 2 weeks, he was free on bail. He even feigned insanity at one point, telling authorities, "I killed my wife for love." Later, he spread false claims that Rhoda had died of cancer. To the outside world, he attempted to rewrite the narrative, but investigators pressed on. A reconstruction of the night revealed darker truths. Nicholas had searched his phone days before the trip. Methods of strangulation, drowning, and injecting drugs were found on his search history. He had staged the Bailey's bottle and glass. He attempted to influence the autopsy doctor through Rhoda's cousin, Dr. Misheni, asking if the report could be adjusted. He tried to paint Rhoda as a drug abuser, claiming he found a syringe near her body and disposed of it. No such syringe was ever recovered. Every attempt at a cover-up only deepened suspicion. The case stalled for years. Delays, corruption, incompetence. It wasn't until May 2019, after public activism and the Justice for Mumbi campaign, that the trial began in earnest.
We miss her dearly, and the fact that we have not gotten justice for the last 8 years, it has been quite a tedious journey, all the way to Naivasha every year. At least now we can be able to breathe and say that our God is faithful. He has done it for us.
17 witnesses testified. The prosecution pointed to Nicholas' internet searches, the staged bathroom, his injury, and the doctrine of last seen. He was the last person with Rhoda before she died. The defense struggled with inconsistencies. His jogging story changed. His police statement clashed with his court testimony. His detached behavior, posting RIP before informing family, painted a damning picture. Investigators and witnesses later revealed that Nicholas had begun to see Rhoda as a financial burden. Friends testified that he had complained about the cost of maintaining the household and his resentment over her perceived dependency. To him, removing her seemed like a way of freeing himself, a chilling motive that added to the storm already brewing in their marriage. On March 4, 2025, after nearly 8 years of delays, the Naivasha High Court delivered its verdict. Justice Richard Mwongo found Nicholas Koskei guilty of murdering his wife under the Penal Code sections of 203 and 204. On March 27, 2025, Nicholas was sentenced to 30 years in prison. Justice was finally served. What began as a love story between two young UN professionals ended in tragedy. Rhoda, the bright and loving mother of two, lost her life in the hands of the very man who had promised to protect her. Nicholas Koskei had tried to craft a facade of wealth, success, and love. But beneath it lay betrayal, manipulation, and untimely murder. Justice, though delayed, had finally prevailed. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Crimes of Africa. Until next time, remember that not every danger hides in the shadows. Sometimes it wears the face of the people we love.